Okay, I'm a speech and language pathologist in a public school, and I'm working with a student diagnosed with SM. Our sessions have started off great. The student has spoken with me while her mom has been present. However, her mom just recently got a job and will no longer be able to come to future sessions. Do you have any recommendations for ways to continue progressing without the mom present?
Great question. In a perfect world, what I would have done is try to, the child was using the parent as a verbal intermediary stage two. And so accepting that, I get that that's where they were. However, it was just kind of like dropped off. And now where do you go? In a perfect world, what I would have loved seen happen is that we transitioned that mother out, whether it's increasing the distance, whether it's just a question and the child responds through red or blue, no answer, red or blue, tell mom, and the child just responds blue, and the teacher repeats with that eye contact. And as you ask lots of questions and do lots of activities, the child just starts to speak louder. And what we do is we make that child aware of where they're at on the bridge, and that we hear them, and we have them rate their feelings. So that's like a typical way we deal with it. But for some children, they won't increase the distance. So we wean the mom out by standing up and taking certain number of steps out, or we may start with close up, fist length, half an arm, full arm. Some kids use measuring sticks, popsicle sticks. Some young children will use like a toilet roll holder. They decorated a paper towel holder, etc. They have fun with it if they're young. Some just use fist, half an arm, full arm length away, and we chart it. We chart it. So they see where they are at on the bridge and moving across. So that's how we would possibly wean from the verbal intermediary. When you don't have a parent or an intermediary, in some cases, maybe the mom has like a picture of her that can be her intermediary, or a finger puppet of some sort. There have been many kids that will use something to represent their parent and actually use an intermediary, even if it's a stuffy or something, like a stuffed animal. That's one way for young children. But if you're alone with a child and the child's completely mute, a really great transitional strategy, assuming this is something that the child gravitates to. In other words, when you kind of expose the child to a sounds to words approach, the child gravitates and does it. And you'd be surprised how many do when you do it in the right way. So using sounds in a very stepwise fashion, sounds to words, or a ritual sound approach, when it's a very kind of using the bridge and doing sounds, putting a few together, charting it. It's really a kind of an art using the ritual
So,
sound approach.
so just to go back to parent being present versus not being present, parent can't be present. First off, why is it easier for a child to speak, or sorry, to progress in the speech while a parent is present versus not
Some
present?
children won't do that with a parent because they feel the expectation and they won't do it. Other children, think about it, you're the most comfortable with your parent. So
Mhm.
that's a comfort for them, right? Without their parent there, they don't have that comfort. So if a
Yeah.
child, and the parent's the one facilitating strategies out in the community and outside of school, that's their parent. So having that person, now this could be a peer. In a perfect world, maybe this
Right.
child has progressed into speech with a peer, had play dates, small groups in the room, etc., small groups out of the room. Maybe they just spontaneously began talking to a peer, even if it's
Mhm.
quiet one or two words to a peer in school. That would be a great way to do this group,
Right.
is bring in some peers, and then that peer is a verbal intermediary.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. It's like, okay, mom can't be there, but maybe your older sister can come in, or a friend can come in, or even like a relative,
But
a
the key is
cousin.
to wean that person away. Like
Right.
every time you're together and you're keeping that child at that same level, then okay, that's great. But now what? Because the goal is to wean mom out. We don't want her in school all the time. So I
Right.
would want to build connections with peers and get peers to be intermediaries. But I would say that some children with comfort with that speech pathologist through just sounds to words and asking choice direct questions, write and read. I mean, it's possible this child will speak. This happens all the time in session with us, where we'll have a
Mhm.
child completely mute in school, but it's just how we ask the questions. And parents are often floored. How did you
Mhm.
get this to happen? It's like, well, we're not magicians. It's like, we knew what strategies to use based on that child's presentation. And again, I don't know who this child is. I don't know the whys of SM. I don't really know baseline stages in classroom. I'm only taking what the speech pathologist is telling me.